component. This is what intellect is. It's rationality. It's intelligence. Rationality means that there's reasons why you do things. And humans are rational. Even in their irrationality, there's rationality. Unless it's madness, and there's no intellect. Somebody just kills somebody because he's mad or whatever. That's madness. But if you eat, a cheesecake, you have a reason for doing it because you want pleasure. That's a reason. It might not be the best reason, but there's a rational reason why you're doing it. If I eat it, I'm going to feel good. If I feel good, I'm going to be happy. I want to be happy, therefore I should eat it. Right? I mean, this is a syllogism. And we're always doing this. Always. And then the next one is that the second meaning of the intellect is the ability to distinguish between three things. What's wajib, what's mumkin, and what's mustahil. And these three, this is the essence. Necessary, contingent, or possible, or conceivable. And this is also called possible. And then impossible. So these three, this is what the intellect does, and it does it through what's called propositions. And propositions they're either true or false. They're either true or false. And they're either affirmations or negations. So a proposition, there is a God. That's a proposition. It's either true or false. The intellect determines what its position on it is. It's either necessary that there is a God, it's either conceivable that there is a God, or it's inconceivable that there is a God. So it's going to fall into one of these categories, and then the intellect, it basically knows intuitively certain things are impossible. For instance, it is impossible for me to fly. Like, I cannot fly. I know that. My intellect tells me that. It's impossible for me to believe that this is taller than I am. It's impossible. The intellect just knows that. And if I said, isn't it interesting how this is taller than I am? You would say that you're mad. It's not taller than you are, right? Well, I could say by perspective, if you put it over there and then you put me over there, right? And then. So that's what the intellect does. It knows these three things, and children know these things. They know them intuitively. So this is the foundation of the aql, is its ability to determine what's possible, what's necessary, and what's impossible, or conceivable and inconceivable. So by thinking, the intellect, if it's sound, will conclude that it is impossible for something to come out of nothing. It's impossible. Therefore, people say, is there a God? Wrong question. Muslims never ask that question, is there a God? The question is always, does the world have a creator? That's the question. Not, is there a God? Because we can't know that. Right? We cannot know that. If there was no creation, if we never existed, we couldn't know whether there was a God or not. But because we're in a world and we have intellects, we can reflect and come to the conclusion, this world must have had a creator. And that creator must necessarily exist because I know this only contingently exists. It's possible. There could be a world or there couldn't be a world. That's possible because we know it had a beginning. And therefore, because we know it had a beginning, whether or not it existed or not, that was up to whoever made it. So it has a conceivable existence, not a necessary. The world is not necessarily existent. But because we're in the world, there are certain things that are necessary about being in the world. For instance, it is wajib that I occupy space. I cannot exist without occupying space. You see, so now you move to there's wajib in the contingent, right? It's necessary that I need air, wajib. I cannot live without air. It's not conceivable to exist without air. I'm an air being. I need air, right? I'm aquatic. I can go into water, but only for short periods of time. So we have one of the most fascinating things about the human being, even though in traditional medicine we are made up of the four elements in traditional medicine: earth, air, fire, and water. Fire is the heat, the caloric content that we're created. We have fire in us. And then there's spiritual fire also. But Allah has made us, we exist in earth, right? We walk on earth, we sleep on earth, all these things. We wear earth. This is all cotton. It's from the earth. We breathe air, right? We have to drink water. Bismillah. But the one thing that He has made that we cannot take is the fire. It's amazing. We cannot take the fire. We can't touch it. We can't walk in it. We can't swim in it. Water we can swim in. So He made, of all these elements, the one element that He made us fear and be afraid of was fire. To teach us, when He told us, I have a fire, you don't want to go into it. Because you know what the dunya fire is like, this is much worse, right? So that's the aql, understanding those. So that's the second type of aql. It's the